Hey, hi. Welcome to Pumpkin Patch, what episode? I can't believe what episode are we on. Wait. Uh, let's go to episode 24. Welcome to episode 24. Okay, this episode, honestly, I wanted to bring people over and, like, like us have guests over, but it seems like no one's awake right now. So, let's just do this alone because, it's okay to do alone episode. Today we're gonna be talking about Vocaloid and how I found out about it. So, for starters, like, when did I figure out about Vocaloid? Of course, I knew about Miku way back when around the time when it got popular, but I didn't know what Miku was. All I know it was something about like robot or AI or some shit. And it was revolutionary back then. So in the entire of Asia, you would hear about Miku. You could not escape Miku essentially. Even though you won't understand it, you at least hear it once. So yeah, I heard of it before, but like I didn't know first the name of it. I just know the character. So when I got my phone, I think about a few months later or 1 year, when I started getting into Japanese music, was around the first time I discovered Miku. Was around because I can't remember. Was Miku the first one? Oh wait, let me just like do a quick check because it shouldn't be that hard because I have a Spotify playlist, the J-pop one, which actually tracks down like pretty accurately like my history of how I found. Okay, yeah. So it is Miku was the first one I discovered first before I discovered another Vocaloid. So yeah, I was scrolling through music and then I found Yasobi, the people who make Monster and whatnot. So I was like, oh, this is quite cool those thing, and then I checked their old like music because this was also half owned to be Ayase's old channel, so you could find all his old music which uses Hatsune Miku, and I was like a big fan of 3 of his music. One of them was Friction Blue, and then another was Killer Queen, and then Ghost City Tokyo. Those are still very good songs. You guys, if you want to like start with go like simple one, I say this 3, but I just say good way to start. If you cannot find it, just search Yasobi. This was my 3 thing because I decided who this like person who's singing, which I didn't know was a Vocaloid. It was quite cool. Like wow, they can do like this electronic like voice. So then I decided to go search on it, and then apparently I searched was Hatsune Miku. Like no way is this Hatsune Miku, right? It wasn't there. No, is there a human singer named Hatsune Miku? Because I like figure out that's the AI thing, and then I keep searching and I realize, oh, it is that. And then that's when I started my first introduction to Vocaloid because I didn't even know the term Vocaloid, and I think I just started like 2 years ago only. So yeah, it's like a new fan in a sense because I did like some of the old things, but back in the very early days, but like back then I had limited access to internet as well, so uh I only could listen to a bit and not a lot. So yeah, I was like, oh, uh, Hatsune Miku. Then because I don't remember names that well from back then. Like now I remember names quite well, but like back then, like my memories for names was bad. It was only around when I turned teen that my brain starts to remember name. So yeah, I couldn't remember Hatsune Miku, the name Miku and whatnot. So yeah, then I like, oh, this is cool. Then I started doing slight research of it. It wasn't much research. Essentially, that died down, and I just continued moving on to listening to my own Japanese music from like shows and whatnot, until an ending from what was it? It's from an anime, and it was sung by KAFU and KAF. The ending. If someone remembers that, please. Like I can't remember It's this. I'm like, where is this from? Where is this from? Wait. I found the song, but I cannot remember where is this from. This is. Yeah, I can't remember. This is a song from is this Jashin or something? I can't remember, but Dropkick on Your Devil. Yes, that's the name of the title of the anime. Dropkick on Your Devil X, which had that. And then I was searching up, like, oh, this is such the same thing that happened with Miku happened with KAFU, because I thought KAFU was an actual singer singing as it appeared everywhere, and I didn't heard of it before because I knew about Len, Rin, and Miku after like learning, and then I slowly learned about Luca and Kaito. Meko was like oddity, which I didn't really know. I just know there's one that looks like super normal Japanese woman. So yeah, then I like, I would say uh because that's all I knew. I like only knew like the basic. Then when I heard cover, I was like, this is an interesting singer. Let me research on it. And then I realized after it's a voice bank or Vocaloid too. Then I was like, what? Is this Vocaloid? I thought it's a real human. Then like, it's based off calf. I was like, what? My eyes were like, what? Because I was like listening to a lot of KAFU. I think I listened to like 6 or like 4 without realizing that was Vocaloid again. The same exact thing. By the way, this is all before I got addicted to Kaito. The only music I was listening was Miku, and then I started listening KAFU. Those two were like what pretty much broadened my knowledge about Vocaloid, because I have very small knowledge of it. And then around that time was also around the time I went into Osu, because and Osu, well, Japanese music, you're gonna like you see more Vocaloid. So I started doing that, and then I went across uh, a mapping contest called Vocaloid Appreciation, no, Vocaloid Mapping Contest, the first one, which was hosted by VAT. Yes, that's the time I started hanging around with them, the Vocaloid Appreciation team, and I really want to record episode with them. So we like, how was it? I participated, and I was like, oh, this is cool, and they got Miku and whatnot. So I just started. Remember, I wasn't didn't know a lot about Vocaloid. I didn't know Teto Gumi, because all I knew was Miku. Miku was all I knew, and then the next thing I only know was KAFU. I was like, oh. My knowledge was so small, and like afterwards I only learned about Len and Rin, but then that's it. Those are the only vocalists I learned about. And then I went to this after like the only Miku was essentially, I'm pretty sure. And then after that I started hanging around the Discord quite often. And then we were talking about, I started like seeing a lot of stuff about Vocaloids, and then I started learning more Vocaloids from that area. Started learning, like, I think the first introduction to Tato and Azun was when I was trying to map Noda, that song that got super popular, I think last year. Yeah. So there was Noda, and then I was like, oh, this is, was it last year? Wait, is Noda, when was Noda released? It was, let me just do this. Noda. This was released last year, 6th November from last year. Yeah. That song essentially, I was like asking, okay, I know Miku, but who are these two? Like, why is there a red hair girl, and why is there like a Rin but with green hair? I was like, I was so confused. Yes, I thought Zun was Rin with green hair. You can't believe me. They have like the funny hair. It's similar to the bow tie that Rins wear. So you could see why I got confused with it, and I didn't know who Tato was. Like, who the hell is this red hair girl? And then someone said that person is Zun, and that one was Tato, the red hair, which you guys should know because now it suddenly got popular again. And Zun was the green hair one. I think, by the way, I think Tato got popular first from Noda, and then repopulate, like it got surface again from Noda, and then like it went to like, how was it? Then that famous mesmerizer thing, and then whatever, like a lot of people suddenly started using after Noda. Noda was definitely the thing that brought back Tato. I don't think it brought back Zun though. Zun is always like very unused. So yeah, this was my introduction to those three. That means Utao was learned. I didn't know about Utao, and I forgot what Zone is from where actually. Wait, I actually never done the research. Zone, the one is a vocal synthesizer, and a vocal synthesizer. Oh yeah, definitely. It's from this paper AI. It's a Utao also. Okay. So yeah, I didn't know about Utao until I think this year when I Northeast decided to go host a Utao work course and decided to research on it and realized that was what people use Tato and Zune. Because the only software I knew was the one that you had your common Vocaloids and the one that had the KAFU and all those other girls from the band. So and then the next thing I actually did, how I discovered more was more of the bass Vocaloids was through Project Sekai, because around last year I think was around the time Project Sekai finally came to Singapore, because we knew about it but we couldn't access it for like ages because Singapore had like some weird laws or some shit that didn't allow Project Sekai. So after like a very long time, we finally, actually it's not super long, but like after quite a while, we finally got Project Sekai, and then I was downloading my phone, it failed. Then I no, it failed. Yeah, no, it didn't fail. It's just I could only play the tutorial. But like from the tutorial, I was, those loading screen, you could read about all those other vocals. Like that's when I started learning about all the other Vocaloids. And like, oh, Greenland are the same voice actress or the actor, I can't remember. And then you had Kaito, Meiko, Luca. I was like learning all these things. Like, oh, this is interesting. And then this year I started playing more Project Sekai because my phone couldn't run it. So yeah, I started learning more about like the characters and whatnot. And then yeah, I like learned about more music from. So this year I think it's like the most I had learned about Vocaloid and whatnot. Because I started learning about all sorts of Vocaloid, like the giant list of Vocaloids. Like from eye to the flower, is it? Yeah, flower and eyes are different. So yeah, like eye, flower, gumi. I like just started learning. And like I think also I started learning more about like the others from how is it? Yeah, from like going to a site. I can't tell you why, like to see what's the most used Vocaloid for like music and whatnot, and then I started learning about all these other things, so like it widened my thing. If you know me, you might not know me, like you could guess like why I was researching that, but like, I'm not gonna tell you. So I'm not gonna like just suddenly spoil, oh, I'm doing this one XXX, like no, I'm not gonna tell you like why, but yeah, I was like researching about Vocaloid and stuff, and now I'm a person who maps a lot of Vocaloids and like fanboy in a sense, Kaido, because it's quite underappreciated. Like there's not a lot of song with Kaido in it. Let's be real, and I mean Kaido as the main, not as a guy who's singing in the background. Like there's some good ones, but like there's so little. It's like Kaido is one of the few who has like very little songs. And other one I know that's way less popular is Miko. Like that is like what you have a Miko song and you just find a very rare gem. But yeah, there's not many, man. At most a year you could have only see at most like 10, at most like 10 good one and popular, not like those people just make batch releasing just random noises. Like that's very few title, and then Mako was like 5, not even 5, right? Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 in a year. It's super unused. So yeah, I was like, oh, Kaito, cool design. His voice doesn't sound bad and doesn't treat me like hell like Miku and KAFU. I still don't know how I managed to get tricked by that. And yeah, I was like, Kaito was like, he had the most potential out of most. Mako had like, Luca was a very gentle thing, but like you can definitely tell the like it has use, but like to me Kaito, since it was underused and it was like, dude, this guy has so much use. Like I want to support this Vocaloid because like really it's like his design is one of the coolest, and he has like one of the most like, let's say, unique use you could use it for. Of course, not a lot of people know how to use like this rough edge electronic sounding because it's like an instrument at that point, which I think is how people should. Oh, sorry, I think it's what people should use Kaito as, like as a like an instrument of sorts. Like he has a lot of potential out. Of course, it's Kafu, which I can like honestly nice. Do I ever want to make an utao of myself? If you ever wonder that. Utao maybe not lah, but like maybe Vocaloid, who knows? Who knows? I do not know. And I know it's not easy to like actually get a full on Vocaloid, it's better to just get utao, but like who knows? I cannot predict the future. If you do get it, yay. If you're gonna call it some funny name, I don't think we're gonna call it Nol, right? Like Nolu. Because an L doesn't exist in Japanese, so it'll be Noru. Or like Neru. No, Neru is the one that wasn't Mesmerizer. The no, no, it can't be Noda. Like I have like originally not just go with one of the classic names that I created in the, I think a few years back. Origins, like you can just call it Origins. Like yeah, there's a lot of potential. I mean, in the thing, and Utao is like what you can just make your own voice bank in a sense. Like it's cool and whatnot. Thanks like to the VAT for like actually helping me bring me into the vocal, because I think without VAT I wouldn't have dived so deep into Vocaloid music, because I started only doing all this research after the fact I did Vocaloid mapping contest, joined the VAT, and then just started interacting like crazy with them. It's like wow. I think back when I joined, right, after the contest, it was just me like asking for mapping feedback, but then eventually we started chatting, and oh, this is cool, and then I started becoming one of the few regulars in VAT. Quite like one of the few well-known in VAT. It's just like Kuro is a Kurose, as like to say, just like chatting with every single one. The only mod there who just like is interacting with every single one. Like because I think around this year I also started just going ham with interacting, because back like last year I didn't have much time to interact because I was focused on studies, because I was graduating. So it's like I was doing it semi like frequently, but it wasn't as often as I would say this year, which I just started to get like now that people know, like, I don't know, end of last year I was really into Vocaloid stuff. Like I caught a Miku figure from Japan last year. And that just proved to you I was into Vocaloid stuff, because I wasn't looking at Kaido stuff. But like, dude, if you ever know, right, the amount of Kaido figure there are is very very little. You might as well just order online. It's like trying to get Suisei merch fresh from the batch. It's insanely hard. I mean it. Oh, speaking of which about Suisei, right? Like I think Vocaloids was like one of the few things that actually started VTubing, and like people wonder what is the first VTuber and whatnot. I would say one of the first inspiration of VTubing, definitely Vocaloid. Because Vocaloid existed quite a while back, and when it came out, it was like, oh, cool tech. It's like, it's pretty much like the first AI-ish thing, like anime AI type, and then they like semi-progress to what you know is VTuber, and like people try to figure out, but like, dude, this is Japan. They have very limited things, just like how, because you want to know why? Asia also had the very limited things, like we were enclosed. We didn't like to touch the West. Like people who go to the West, they're in a different region. But now, of course, now we all like quite connected. But like back then, in like the early days, we were not connected. We were just like doing our own thing. Asian be doing Asian thing. Britain will be doing Britain thing. America will be doing America things. Like we were very secluded. But now So we're using that concept, like idea and concept. That means Japan will only really like see Japan stuff only. So Vocaloid with its early thing, it was definitely what supported and inspired VTubing as a whole. Speaking of VTubing, maybe we should probably do an episode on that, right? Anyway, I think I'm running out of topics to say, and we reached 20 minutes. I don't want to like wait edit so much because a bit slow in like, releasing episodes, but like thank you guys for coming to this episode, and hope you guys are like, coming on your way back from school or work or listening this during your comfort time. Good luck with all your things, and see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.